Hello everyone, my name is Varun. Today we are going to learn about connectionist modeling and Makeloff-Pitts model, perceptron, Adeline and Madeline. Okay, let's see what is connectionist modeling. Connectionist model. These are also known as parallel distributed processing models, and this comes under the class of computational models, and these have the aspects like human perception, cognition, and behavior. And the learning process underlying such behavior will has a storage and retrieval of information from the memory. Okay, and coming to the computational models. Sorry, Makeloff-Pitts model is one of the first mathematical model which has a biological neuron, which was built from biological neuron, and it was proposed by Warren Makeloff and Walter Pitts, and this is also known as a linear threshold gate model. Okay, let's see how human brain neuron works. Here you can observe axons, right? You can observe axons. These are the inputs for the neuron cell. Here dendrites takes the input and put it into the neuron cell body, where the functions run, and then it chooses whether to send a signal or not with an electrical signal with the help of axon, and this process continues with the other neuron after sending the electrical signal. This process continues throughout the brain for sending signals to the brain. Okay, next, this is a mathematical representation and a diagrammatic representation of the neuron using a Makeloff-Pitts model. Okay, x1, x2, x3, these are the dendrites, and this is the summation where all the inputs are multiplied and summed within this accumulator, and here you will perform a function whether the function should fire the output or not. Here it takes a decision, and this is a formula for getting the output for. Okay, let's see how the Makeloff-Pitts model can be represented. Okay, and this is the representation of Makeloff-Pitts model. Here x1, x2, x3 and so on, xn, these are the inputs, and G is aggregation, where it takes the decision whether the output should be fired or not, and F is the function where you calculate the values for the function, by applying the values for the function, and then you will get an output which according to the aggregation. Okay, see, G aggregates the inputs and the function F takes the decision based on this aggregation. Okay, I said you right. The G applies the aggregation and checks whether the decision, whether the output should be fired or not. Okay, according to that aggregation, the output will be fired. Okay, the inputs are excitatory or inhibitory. Okay, coming to this, let's see first what is inhibitory. Okay, let's say you are going to watch a movie, right? Okay, you are going to watch a movie, and x1 is the condition that you will watch a thriller movie. Okay, and x2 is the condition that the actor should be a demon. Okay, and x3 is the condition that your favorite actor. If these three conditions are okay, then you will watch a movie. And if, let's say, you have a X3 condition which you are not feeling better, or you have some other works, okay, if this is always on, that means if this is always 1, then it is known as inhibitory input. Okay, if this is always on, the output will not be fired. Okay, these are known as inhibitory. Excitatory, which is opposite to the inhibitory. Okay, y is equal to 0 if any xi is inhibitory, else the output is 0 if any one of the input is inhibitory. Okay, and else g of x1 comma x2 comma so on xn is equal to g of x, which is the summation where we take the decisions. Okay, that is the aggregation. And y is equal to f of g of x, applying the function. If you get the output as 1, then g of x is greater than or equal to theta. Here theta is okay, I'll say it later. Yeah, y is equal to f of g of x. If the output is 0, then g of x is less than theta. Yeah, theta is a thresholding parameter which gives you the condition whether the output should be fired or not. This is a decision where you will take it, and whether the output should be fired or not, this decision will let you. Okay, yeah. Now let's see some of the Boolean functions applied for the Miklos-Spitz model. Okay, yeah. The Miklos-Spitz model will be represented like this. Okay, now for the OR function, well, what is the condition for the OR function? If every value is 0, then only 0, right? Yeah, if any one of the value is 1, then always the output is true. So the threshold value is 1, because any one value, if it is 1, then only you will get the output as 1. Yeah, so the threshold value will be 1, that is theta is equal to 1. Yeah, and for the OR function, and for the OR function, you will have if 3 inputs are, and for the AND function, if the 3 inputs are true, then only the output will be true. Okay, so the theta value will be 3, obviously. Okay, okay. Now x1 and not x2. Okay, here not x2 is an inhibitory function. If this is on, if this is 1, the output will be 0. Okay, if x1 is 1 and x2 is 0, then the output will be 1. Okay, so x1 should be 1, so theta value is 1. Yeah, here NOT function, the NOT function is always 0. Yeah, theta value is 0. Is that right? Okay, yeah, that's it. And NOR function, here in NOR function, if both the values are on, then it will be 0. Yeah, now let's see. Yeah, can any Boolean function represented using a Miklos-Spitz model? Is it possible? Let's see. Yeah, it can be represented in a geometric interpretation of a MP neuron, that is Miklos-Spitz neuron. For the OR function, we apply the formula, at the first what we saw for the mathematical representation of a Miklos-Spitz model. Yeah, here in OR function, when any value which is 1, then only any of the input is 1, then only the output is 1, right? So representation will be like this. the line which passes through from 0, 1 and 1, 0. Yeah, the values which are below this line, below this slope or below this line, will be having the output value as 0. Okay, and the values and the output for the values which lie on the line and above the line will have a value as 1, output as 1. Okay, now let's see for the AND function. You have theta value as 2 and function as x1 plus x2 is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to 2 and xi value as greater than or equal to 2. Okay, now let's see the representation. If both the values are 1, then only the output will be 1, right? Okay, the line will pass through the 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0. Okay, the values which are below this line will have a output as 0, and the values which are on the line and above the line will have values as 1. Okay, same for the tautology. Tautology, if both the values are always on, then the output will be 0. So the line will pass through the origin, and you have a positive half and then a negative half. The positive half has a positive values and the negative half has a negative values. And for the 3 input functions, you will have a 3D plane. Okay, here you can see I have applied a OR function for this. You can see the representation of the graph geometric interpretation, and after applying the function you will get a theta value as 1, and the function as x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to theta, that is equal to 1, and the values which lie on the plane and above the plane will have a output of 1, and the values which are below the plane will have a value of 0, and the origin is below the plane. Okay, so let's have a perceptron information in the next video. Thank you.